Okay, good evening, everybody. Good to see all your wonderful, fantastic, smiling faces. What can I tell you? I want to start off by doing a reading from The Language of Letting Go. It's today's reading, but it kind of fits into our topic for tonight. Step 12. The 12th step says that having had a spiritual awakening, we try to carry this message to others. Our message is one of hope, love, comfort, and health. A better way of life, one that works. We carry the message in many small ways, subtle but powerful. We do our own recovery work and become a living demonstration of hope, self-love, comfort, and health. These quiet behaviors can be a powerful message. Being who we are and allowing our higher power to guide our actions are powerful ways to carry the message. Often we find ourselves carrying the message more effectively than we do when we set out to reform, convince, or coerce someone into recovery. Caretaking and controlling are not ways to carry the message. They are the ways of codependency. Okay, if I can get the page turned. Having troubles tonight. There we go. Still, the most powerful form of helping others comes down to helping ourselves. We do our own work and we're honest and open about it. We impact others more than our most well-intentioned helping gesture. We cannot change anyone else, but we can change ourselves. We end up changing the world. Today, I will strive to carry the message in ways that work. I will let go of my need to help people. Instead, I will concentrate on helping and changing myself. If an opportunity comes up to share my recovery with someone, I will do so quietly. God, help me show others comfort, empowerment, and hope. I can be a channel to help others when I am ready. I do not have to force this. It does happen naturally. I wanted to share that today. I really kind of enjoyed that this morning because we're going to talk a lot tonight about the concept of the holidays and recovery. We'll be doing the holiday series for 4 weeks. And I love doing this series because every time the holidays come around, many of us go through a lot of changes. There's a lot of things that come into our mind from the past, even things maybe from the future, things that we have to deal with. And so literally when it comes to recovery, I always kind of take the holidays as a very special part to look at it through the eyes of recovery, through the eyes of growth, through the eyes of being able to take the gift of myself and learn how to share it and share that gift with others. I want to go through all the major holidays and give you different ways to look at them. Not so much the traditional ways of looking at them, we'll do them later, but to basically look at them through the eyes of a recovery program, through the eyes of the 12 steps, through the eyes of being able to look at ourselves in a positive and beautiful way. But the foundation for all of it is we can't give to someone else, because tonight we're talking about your spirit that makes us who we are, our uniqueness and our specialness. We can't share that spirit with anyone unless we first develop that spirit. And that is the philosophy of all spirituality, to come to a knowledge of self and then be able to share that gift and give that gift to others. We begin the holiday traditionally always with the Feast of Thanksgiving, which we just celebrated. And Thanksgiving, it basically is the concept of gratitude. I have learned to be grateful for so many things in life. And gratitude is such a gift. So you live a life with an attitude of gratitude. You live a life of joy. You live a life of celebration. Just to be grateful for the gift of life, for the gift of family, for the gift of recovery, for the gift of work, for the gift of community, for the gift of being connected to others, for the gift of friends. There's so many beautiful gifts out there that are given to us every day, given to us by our higher power. Many of them we take for granted. The gift of our freedom, the gift to be open, the gift to learn, the gift to grow. All these things are gifts that have been given to us on a daily basis if we take advantage of them and if we use the gifts in a good and positive way. Again, It comes down to the choices we make. It comes down to basically opening up our heart and become what I call gift givers. And those gifts come from the inside, not from the outside. I'm sorry. You know, we live in a crazy world today, where the shopping day for Christmas, I think they start around the 4th of July. It's not a problem anymore. Probably they're going to probably start on Memorial Day pretty soon. But the bottom line is we have to realize the fact that it's not about that. It's not about time. It's not about things of that effect. And it's not about material gifts. Material gifts don't last, but spiritual gifts are powerful. They come from the inside. The next celebration we have, and one of the ones I love very much, is the celebration of St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas on on December 6th is a very special time. In some countries, in Holland especially, it's a time people put their shoes outside at night and find a gift inside their shoes the next day. And apparently that gift is brought by St. Nick as a tradition. What's so beautiful about it is it starts the season of giving, the season of sharing. I look at this time of the year especially as a time to be able to look within, time to be able to share the gifts that we have, not only this month, but also to share them every day in the gift of life. Because we are all very gifted, very beautiful, very talented people. Each one of us has unique and special gifts. Each one of us is different, thank God. And the bottom line is we're able to share those gifts and put those gifts out with others. And it might not be something gigantic or something earth-shattering. It could be the simple little things that we do on a daily, everyday basis. And then the next celebration we have, of course, is Hanukkah, which will start on December 7th of this year. And Hanukkah is a very special time. I love Hanukkah because there's something very symbolic, especially for us in recovery. It's almost from this little light. Slowly but surely, the light increases and increases till it becomes more beautiful and more powerful. And it's almost like we take this very simple thing, the concept of light and life, because deep down inside of us, there's this beautiful gift. It's the gift of life. And many of us have lost that gift, especially in realms of addiction, different types of addiction. I guess we went into the dark side for a while. And literally, we have to slowly but surely use that beautiful concept of Hanukkah to begin to light that little light inside of us. And if we light it and work with it, slowly it becomes bigger. Slowly it grows, like the days of Hanukkah. We celebrate these. They're beautiful days. As a story I always love telling, probably heard me tell it before, but way back in 1976, the first sponsor I ever had was a guy named Norm over in Philadelphia. And Norm had this habit. We used to go to a meeting in Philly on a regular basis called the Mustard Seed at 17th and Sampson in Philadelphia. And Norm would always give me a mustard seed. He'd say, Vince, take this mustard seed, put it in your pocket, and leave it there, and remember what the mustard seed means. He reminded me every day that each and every one of us is a seed planter. We plant seeds. We may never see them grow, but they do grow. We never know sometimes who we planted the seed with. It's like carrying that little message, maybe saying something, giving a gift to someone, just giving a hug. You never know how you're touching another human being, how you're experiencing things in so many different ways of life. It's just so amazing. And maybe you may never even know where you've touched individuals and people. But the bottom line is we have this beautiful gift inside of us, a gift to plant a seed. And that seed is like the lights of Hanukkah. It's that seed that we place. And from that seed, slowly and gradually, things grow, they go out. And yet I've learned over and over again that we are the ones who begin the journey. We carry a message. We share it. we share the gift of ourselves. And we can share that in very many different ways. It might just mean making time for someone. I'll never forget someone who I'm very close to now, but I never knew her before. She used to come to our office at Starting Point, and one day, for some crazy reason, I shouldn't say this in front of Loretta, but for some crazy reason, I decided to take one of the books off the bookshelf, a book that I wrote on childhood history, and just say, here, Merry Christmas. It wasn't even Christmas time. I don't know what it was. I said, Merry Christmas. She said, thank you. She looked at me strangely. I didn't say a word. I walked away. I came to find out a good period of time later on, years, she's coming in for therapy. She would basically walk up to me and say, I just want to tell you something someday. How did you know about that book? I said, what do you mean? How did I know about what book? She said, the one you gave me. Why did you give it to me? She said, I just thought it'd be a nice present. I don't know. Something told me to give it to you, so I gave it to you. She said, well, that book changed my life. Then she went through a group I ran on codependency. Then she grew from there. Then I met her in different meetings and programs. And now she's on our board of directors at Starting Point. She's been around for a long time. It's just totally amazing. But it's almost like, I don't know, why did I give her a book? I get in trouble because sometimes I give books away. But the bottom line is, it's a gift to be shared, things to be shared, things we put out. It could be a little thing, a little direction. You never know. And that's why sometimes you have to listen to your spirit, to the things that are inside of you. You might just meet someone and talk to them for a couple of minutes. You carry a message. You never know where it goes. I often love telling the story, how you start the light, you get it started, you get the thing going. It's like the Boy Scouts putting two sticks together, getting the lights going, getting things moving. Everything starts with a spark. When we look at Hanukkah, it began with a little bit of oil, just a little bit. And every time it increased, it got brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. But it took time. It took a little bit at a time, gradual process. That's what life is really all about. Learning and growing is a slow but beautiful, gradual process. It's a way in which we touch each other, a way in which we reach out to each other. Someone who's here tonight gave me a group of books that are connected to a 12-step program. She gave them to me as a gift. I then passed them out to other people. And those people now are people I'm connected to and I'm around with. We all are connected to them. It's just amazing how we keep passing it on, passing it forward, being connected in this direction, going that direction. You never know where it's going to go, how it's going to work. You never know what people need. But they do need a little bit of love, a little bit of energy to be able to let people know they count, that they're important. These are the beautiful things of life. I'll tell you another story. A good friend of mine who I've known in recovery for a long time when he was going to meetings, and he'd been going to meetings for a long time, he saw this guy come in the back of the room. The guy came in late, sat down, played with his phone the whole entire time he was there, and left early. Came back again, did the exact same thing, came back again. So finally, he went to the door. When the guy was leaving, he said, can I talk to you for a minute? He said, yeah. He said, I'm glad you come to the meetings. Thanks for coming. He said, I hope you keep coming. He said, well, I like it here. Maybe I will. And so he gave him a hug, and he gave him his phone number, and he said, if you ever need help, give me a call. He walked away. Never heard from the guy again. 4 years later, on his anniversary, he was sharing his story. And as he shared the story, this man walked into the back of the room. It was the guy he had talked to. And he came to listen to him share his anniversary story. And afterwards, he walked up to him and he walked up to the guy who was at the meeting, and he said, the guy that came through the door said, thank you. You know, you never, ever, ever criticized me, even though I was late all the time. I left early, even though I play with my phone during the meeting. You kept telling me you belong here, keep coming back, keep coming back. You kept encouraging me and encouraging me. I now have 2 years in recovery. Thank you. Thank you. Who knows? He thought he'd never see the guy again. The guy came on purpose to hear him share his anniversary story. It's just powerful things, the little things like that. We never know. It might just be greeting someone. It might be just spending time talking to someone, you know, acknowledging that they exist. The simple little things in life lights that light and gets that light moving. Next thing we shared during this wonderful season is the symbol of the Christmas tree. I love the Christmas tree. I love neighborhoods during this time. It's almost like from darkness comes light. From darkness comes light. The neighborhoods light up. The trees light up. Everything changes. It's just that energy again of those candles, the things of this effect, the Hanukkah growth, all that light, the light that comes flying up. And we have to use that as a symbol in our lives, that from our struggles, from our hurt, from our pain, slowly but surely, the light comes up, the light gets lit. Everything begins to happen. Things become beautiful again. It's a beautiful concept and it works. It's so powerful and it's so simple. We also look at something else, the concept of Santa Claus. And by the way, I do believe in Santa Claus. You know why I believe in Santa Claus? Because Santa Claus is a gift giver. He's a gift giver. And what's so beautiful about the concept of gifts is each and every one of us is a miniature Santa Claus. We are gift givers. And as a result, then we have to basically take that spirit and that energy and that magic and that beautiful part of life and be able to share it and put it out there. You know, I've learned in recovery to be happy, joyous, and free, to be able to open doors up, to be able to look at life differently. Does that mean you don't have any more bad days? Of course not. You have to have a mixture of both. It's part of what life is about. Life is about the balance of negative and positive. But again, we have to take the things we learn, the things that go inside of us. If we just keep them in and bury them inside of ourselves, they will die. But if we share them and put them out there and share them with others, they come alive. Everything comes alive on the inside. You know, it's ironical because I say this all the time before my lectures, especially the nighttime one. I'm tired. I go, oh, yeah, I got to give a lecture. I sit down with no energy. When I'm done this lecture, it takes me an hour and a half to calm down and go down again. But it's all right. What do you want to do? It's part of life. Because it energizes me to be able to share the gifts that God has given me, be able to share them with others. And I hope and pray every day that those gifts will touch someone else, someplace else. I don't need to know that. It's not important. The important thing is that we take things, then we use them for our growth, for our development. And that's what the Santa Claus thing really is all about. It's about gift giving. Along with that, we have the wonderful concept of the Christmas story. One of my favorite and beautiful stories. And yet I never realized how that Christmas story is so close to the philosophy and the concept of recovery. You know, I look at so many times people that are hurting, they keep looking for a place of refuge, just like Mary and Joseph, when she was getting ready to give birth, was looking for a place of refuge, was looking for a place to lay her head, and there was no room for them anywhere. And so many times in the course of life, we see this in our world. So many people are hurting, going through all kinds of changes, and they're looking for a place they can lay their head, a place where they can be comfortable, a place where they can go to experience a new birth, a new development, a new way of life. And that's why I look at the manger, which is so simple. It's not complicated. I look at the manger, a place around probably some of the most honest things in the world, around animals. Children and animals, they're so beautiful because they have energy and they can feel what's going on. It's very powerful. And so the child gets born in the manger because he had no place to lay his head. So the concept is that manger represents the rooms of recovery. It represents us getting help, getting connected, places we can go, places we can feel safe with, places where we can experience new things in life, places where I can go and be connected with others and have a sense of community, place where I can belong, no matter what my situation is, no matter what my hurt is, what my pain is. And I love it so much about the story because the angel went to the shepherds and to the wise men. That comparison is so beautiful. The shepherds were the poorest people of the land. The wise men were the richest people of the land. And they were both brought to the stable. We go into our rooms, we get connected with recovery. There is no rich, there is no poor, there is no better, there is no less. We're all the same. We're all hurting, we're all going through changes, we're all being open to new things, learning new concepts in life, sharing them, being connected with one another. It opens the doors are open. And again, it doesn't make any difference if you have 500 years of education and you have none. It doesn't make any difference what the outside is. It's what the inside is. And you go there to be able to experience a birth. And a birth is a beautiful thing. A new birth, a new connection. There's a little child inside of each and every one of us needs to be born. And as we get into the beginnings of recovery, we are like little children. We're starting over again. We're starting the process again. And we have many rebirths in the course of our journey in life. Rebirths are part of it. You know, this morning I was reading also from the Indians meditation book, and I love that book. And today they're talking about the different levels of life. How we go from child to teenager to young adult, then we go to middle age, then we go to elder, then we go back and the cycle starts again. It's so beautiful of life. We're constantly going through a new birth. We're born, then we're born again. The concept we experience new things, new directions, new discoveries, things of that effect. It takes us to a new level, a new dimension in life. Even age is a constant rebirth process going on. You have to be able to experience each and every part of it. That's the beauty. That's the concept of life, what life really is all about. That's why we keep opening up those doors and letting birth take place. The birth has to be inside of us. That beautiful little child is within each and every one of us. That birth is taking place. So in the eyes of recovery, we look at that and we realize, wow, I'm also part of that manger because I'm going through a new dimension, a new birth in my life. And I'm grateful. And so as I look at that concept of a child, and I see it written the Christmas story is our story. It's amazing. It begins the concept of being born, being started, a little bit at a time. Take your time. Don't move forward. You know, I remember my sponsor in my eating disorder program, you know, when I first went in way back in one of my programs, my sponsor used to always say this to me. He'd say, growth and discovery takes place a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. I would joke and say, about that much. He'd say, no, just that much. That's enough. You learned that much today. You've grown, you've developed, you've gone through a new birth. You've learned something new. And every day, if I just learn something new again, another direction, I don't want to ever be done. Why do I want to be done? There's something new to learn, to discover, to experience. And each and every aspect of our life, we meet somebody new, a new person comes into our life. We experience a new dimension, another teacher, things in these areas. It's so beautiful. And so we see that story played over and over again. You know, the birth of a beautiful, beautiful, simple little child that brings so much to the world. And then we experience another great feast we don't talk about too much, the Feast of Kwanzaa. And I love Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa begins the day after Christmas. And Kwanzaa is the feast of abundance, the feast of community, the feast of being able to be an individual freedom. It's a beautiful feast emphasizing all the different areas of life that all of us need to experience and to grow. And it's all about, once again, it's all about sharing. The gift of abundance means if I have a sense of abundance, it needs to be shared, to be given out to others. Everything grows when you share, it comes back. When you share, it comes back. It's a beautiful kind of abundance. Sense of community. It takes a community to raise a child. It takes a community to be able to grow and experience new things. You can't do it all alone by yourself. It's too lonely, too sad, too isolated. You only keep stuff just to you. It buries, it goes inside. It's got to be out there. It's got to be shared. It could be a simple little thing, but put it out there. That's why we need a sense of community, a sense of people, a sense to be around people, a sense to experience new things. And I love it. You know, the church I go to after services, we always have the coffee hour. It's a small church and small community, but I know everybody in the whole entire community. And sometimes we sit around for 2 hours and just talk, and have some fun and experience and learn about one another and do growing. It's fantastic. Reminds me of my 12-step programs. I have made such a great concept. To me, one of my greatest families is my recovery family. I look around this room right here, the Zoom room. So I call the Zoom room, what can I tell you? I look around here and I see my family. I see all family members. You know, Becky's been a family member for a long time. We're all connected to one another. Crazy Carol, we're all part of it. It's all part of our journey in life. We experience it. We have Charlie, whose head keeps shining because of the light above him. You know, we have Jerry, we have Leslie, all these, every one of us. We have the maestro, we have all these people, we're all connected. There's Aunt Vicky, there's all kind of us that are connected together. We're part of life, we're part of a community. That's exciting. And that really is a very powerful energy. I go to my 12-step meetings, I belong to a community, I belong to people. I get to meet individuals, I get to talk to them. I get to meet people all over the world. Another reason why I like Zoom. I go to my 12-step meeting, we have people that come from Australia. We have one that came in from China, people from Ireland, people from all over. It's fantastic. I got to share my recovery story with people in Ireland. Of course, I had to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning because of the time change, but that's okay. It's not a problem. I don't mind it. You begin to realize after a while, it's all part of the process of giving it out to being connected, finding other people, different directions. The only problem with Ireland was I had a hard time with the brogue, trying to understand everything. But it was fun. What can I tell you? It's always a lot of fun. So you learn the aspect of humor. You learn to be able to be open to new things. And we got to laugh at ourselves at least once a day. Just once a day, okay? But we're funny. What can I tell you? What can I tell you about different things in life? You got to be open to new things and new directions, right, Sue? It's all part of the process we have to go through in life. We have to be able to open those doors. Saul knows what I'm talking about. The bottom line is it's all part of this process we go through. And I love it because I know over and over again, we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still fun. You know, I go through times when I don't feel good and I'll get to connect with people in recovery and things like this. It's almost like it takes away the pain, the struggle. I feel better. Why? It's called the human connection. And that's why Kwanzaa is so powerful because it emphasizes that human connection, that human sharing, that being able to look at our backgrounds, our cultures, different ways of life, to learn from them, grow from them, to respect them and honor them, to honor our differences. It's a beautiful thing. I always love that because it brings out so many beautiful things. The other one I love celebrating too is, of course, New Year's. Once again, we live in a strange world where 1 million people packed together like sardines to watch a crazy ball drop down to welcome in the new year. I often wonder, I looked at that a lot of times. I wonder, you know, how do they go to the bathroom in that crazy packed house? I guess they all wear diapers. What can I tell you? I don't know. Who knows? But the bottom line is, I realize over and over again, is that what it's all about? Beginning of a new year, a new dimension? One of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life took place, believe it or not, at a party, a New Year's Eve party. It was held at St. Thomas Aquinas Parish in South Philadelphia, 18th and Morris. They used to let us use their hall for their different fundraising events. And on New Year's Eve, we used to have a party of Narcotics Anonymous and AA together. It was a group of, I think we used to average 125, 150 people. It was a lot of fun. You know, we have dancing, music. One year we had belly dancers. It was fantastic. But the bottom line is we have a lot of fun. We laugh, do all kinds of crazy stuff. You put a bunch of recovering people in a room, you know it's going to be crazy. You know, there's no alcohol, no nothing, good time. But they haven't started the tradition. At 11:30 at night, they stopped all the music, went into the gymnasium. We formed two big circles. We all put our arms around each other. From 11:30 to 12 o'clock, we had a speaker speak on gratitude for the year that was. Gratitude for the year that was. And after that, at 12 o'clock, instead of banging pots and pans and shooting guns and doing all that kind of stuff, from 12 to 12:30, we stayed in the circle. And someone spoke on, and we were able to share on the concept of being open to what the higher power has in store for us in the year before us, to try to accept it and to live it to the best of our ability. And since I experienced that down there, of course, I can't stay up to midnight anymore. It's not my thing. I'm a senior citizen now. I got to go to bed early. So what I do is I make it a point every New Year's Eve to write a gratitude list, to really put down this past year, what are the things I'm grateful for, the things I can remember. I like to do gratitude lists because it's so powerful. And then when I get up the next day on New Year's Day, I just say some prayers. And I basically say, whatever you got in store for us, God, in the year to come, I call God the boss. Whatever you got in store for us, bring it on. I'll do my best to be able to handle whatever I can handle. What I can't, I'll go and talk to people and get help about it. I don't know what the New Year's going to bring, but to be open to that and be able to start the year with prayer, with meditation, with gratitude, to work in different directions again, to give yourself a gift. And then, of course, we have one more beautiful feast that ends the holiday season. That's the Feast of Little Christmas. You know, I love the Spanish community and the Puerto Rican community. They have this beautiful tradition, and I love it. That's why we gather gifts every year and bring them to the Guadalupe Center in Camden, because on the 6th of January, they celebrate Little Christmas. It's kind of their tradition. 3 men of the community dress up as wise men, and they go and bring gifts to all the kids in the community. They do the Santa Claus thing, but dressed as wise men, and they give gifts out to everybody. They just bring little things. But you know what's so beautiful about that? It's not the gigantic things that make a difference to kids. Kids are wonderful. I remember one time I bought my granddaughter, when she was real small, this very expensive gift, and it was in a box, a great big box. She opened it up. She got excited. She played with it for about 3 minutes. Then she decided to play with the cardboard box. She made her own dollhouse out of a cardboard box. And then she went into her own house. She had all kinds of stuff in there. There's stuffed animals, different kinds of stuff. She had a ball the whole entire day with that box. It was totally amazing. Now, that's what I call a real gift. The expensive thing I bought her, I don't know if she ever used it 2 or 3 times. She loved the box. It was fantastic. It was all part of it. And also, you never know, things that come from the heart. My wife's brother did something so beautiful for my wife's sister, who's in a group home. She's mentally challenged, and she loves the stuffed animal, Oscar the Grouch. He took a block of wood, and he took him hours and hours to carve it. And he carved a beautiful figurine of Oscar inside his trash can. And then he painted it, and he gave it to her for Christmas. She cherishes that so much. And yet it came from his heart because he worked on that. It was something he created. He didn't buy it in a store somewhere. Sometimes the little personal gifts, the little things, I'll never forget. In our family, in Christmas time, I know Italians are strange, what can I tell you? But at Christmas time, we never got gifts. We used to get envelopes. You know, I used to call it money laundering. Because my mother would keep the book. My mother had the book. If Aunt Millie gave me $5, it went into the book. And Aunt Millie's kid got $5. So whoever they gave, the other person got it back. When I got ordained, my mother kept the book. It's amazing. We have always keeping a book. So basically, we just pass money around. The greatest gift I ever got was from my father. My father was a railroad man. My father, I spent a lot of time in the railroad yards with my father when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, my parents both worked and I'm an only child, so I was real small, 7, 8 years old. My father would take me to the railroad yards and put me on the shifter engine. It was a steam engine. It never left the yard. It would shift cars all day long. And then the engineer was my babysitter. So the engineer and the fireman were my babysitter. And basically I would bring my little shovel, put one little piece of coal in at a time. It was a lot of fun looking like that. I didn't come home. I was covered with soot when I came home. It was fantastic. But, the bottom line was my father gave me a gift one day. He gave me a little steam engine, just a little toy. It was a train. My father always, and he and I together were connected to the railroad so much. Even on my birthday, I always go for a steam train ride, and I have lunch on the train. And I cry on that train because I have memories and memories of my dad and so many trips we took together. The things that come back to me. But that little train was the greatest gift I ever got as a kid. And I cherished it. It wasn't an expensive thing. Today, you probably would have got that in one of those $1.25 stores. Back then, it probably cost a penny or a penny and a half. I don't know. But the beautiful little train, because it just connected me back to him. In my garage here, I have something I got from the railroad. To remind me, my garage, I have 3 things connected to my father. I have one of the engine bells from the original steam engine, gigantic bell in my garage. You ring that, the neighbors hear it way down the street. It's not a problem. I also have the front of the engine, the Singer from Pennsylvania Railroad. It was taken off the engine. I have that in the garage. I have my father's ceremony he got when he had 50 years of service on the railroad. It's just amazing. I have my little dedicated thing to my dad in my garage. It's a real important piece for me, piece of life, piece of connection. Billy knew my dad. A really beautiful concept of life. His simplicity. I love that. And that's when I talk about gift giving. See, the whole entire holiday season talks about a lot of gift giving. What are the greatest gifts on the face of the earth? Each one of us is a gift. Each one of us has a spirit. Each one of us is unique. And that spirit inside of us needs to be shared, needs to be grown, needs to be developed. So we can't really share unless we give it away, unless we share it with others and connect with others. Then it comes back 100-fold. I understand that now. When you give something, it comes back 100-fold. That's why you never have to worry. Everything will always find its way. It'll move in the direction it's supposed to move. That's the key to everything we do in the course of life. That's the beautiful part of life. So we interconnect. We're part of one another, part of a growth process. And so take the season, as we talk about holidays and recovery, and kind of connect all the dots. Celebrate, I like to celebrate all the different holidays. I don't care. I get a little compulsive sometimes. I got to celebrate them all because I really learn something from every one of them. There's a growth process in it. And I've learned, which is real important in my course of my journey. So it helps us understand the concept of recovery in the holidays. Next week I'm not going to be here we have one of my therapists, Barbara Focaccio, good little South Philly girl, who's going to be having a discussion with Loretta on the concept of the holidays. You're tuning. She's a real South Philly character. You'll enjoy her. Okay, she's one of the real ones from down there, so you can connect with her. So she'll be here next week because I'm going to Florida next week. My granddaughter's getting married. My granddaughter was a mascot of Starting Point for years, Jordan. She's actually getting married. So I'm going down for the wedding. She's getting married. Guess where? Disney. We have a Disney wedding. Never been to one, so it should be interesting. We'll see what happens. So we'll go through the process of it. But, an interesting week. She's a wonderful kid. She has our itinerary all planned. I'll probably have to come home and need a vacation, so there's no problem at all. But that's all right. That's some fun. And then I'll be back after that, but I'll do 2 more lectures on the holidays, and we'll connect them back and forth to relationships and different areas of life as spirituality and relationships. So we'll continue this process.
Can I jump in here, Vince? Please join us because Barbara and I are going to talk about all those scenarios that come up at the holidays. How to deal with that uncle that always disrupts dinner. Those kinds of things we'll be talking about, and we'll give you an opportunity to put some of those situations in the chat, and we'll get Barbara giving us some good advice. So it should be interesting.
I'm glad you're going to record it because I want to hear it.
It will be fun.
Let's pray. God, we come before you tonight, the God of our understanding, our divine presence. We thank you in so many ways for the beautiful gifts of life you've given to each and every one of us, for the gift of our talents, for the gift of our love. Please help us and guide us as we go on this journey of life to be gift givers, to share our gifts with others, to be open to learn new things, to keep growing, to keep sharing, to keep experiencing new things in the course of life, and to realize more and more that even when we go through struggles, we go through sickness, we go through hurt, sometimes being able to talk about that and share that all of a sudden opens up new doors and new directions, opens up healing and growth. It's all part of the process we go through in life. And so it's a beautiful thing to realize that we are God's gift givers. Thank you, God. We celebrate every day. We thank you for your presence, for your guidance, for your direction, for your messengers. But above all, thank you for giving us these beautiful gifts within so we can share them with others. So tonight we come here in gratitude. We come here in love. We come here in sharing. For you are the greatest gift giver of all. And we thank you for all you have given us. And we pray and we ask this every day in your name. Amen.